If it's a title shot at either weight classes, sign your boy up. If it's a Conor McGregor fight again, I sign the dotted line. Talking about belts, I'm owed the UFC, I'm owed the Conor McGregor belt, the money belt, so you guys got to send me that because I really don't want to go to UFC.com and buy my own and walk around and be that guy, you know. So at the end of the day, send me my belt. I did it. I want it. It is what it is.
The UFC has a genuinely expensive problem on its hands right now, and Max Holloway is the one who created it. He beat Conor McGregor, and instead of quietly waiting his turn for whatever comes next, he's telling the promotion exactly what he wants, and giving them 3 different ways to actually deliver it. If it's a title shot in either weight classes, sign your boy up, Holloway said in comments that spread quickly across MMA media this week. If it's a Conor McGregor fight again, I'll sign the dotted line. UFC, I'm owed the Conor McGregor belt, the money belt, so you guys gotta send me that. 3 separate paths, all laid out in a single breath, and all of them completely plausible given exactly where Holloway's career sits right now. Start with why Holloway even has this kind of leverage in the first place. His win over McGregor at UFC 329 wasn't a clean, definitive statement. It came wrapped in the strange, almost anticlimactic circumstance of McGregor suffering a knee injury early in the fight, leaving fans and analysts genuinely unsatisfied about what a fully healthy version of that rematch might have actually produced. That kind of unresolved ending usually works against a winning fighter's leverage. For Holloway, it's had the opposite effect. He's not just cashing in on a win, he's sitting at the exact center of a rivalry the public still wants to see properly finished. That specific dynamic, a win that satisfies the record book but not the actual audience, is a rare position for a fighter to be in, and Holloway seems fully aware of exactly how valuable it actually is. Most wins either close a storyline completely or open a new one entirely. This win did neither. It left the original storyline hanging, unresolved, and Holloway is the only person positioned to actually close it, which is precisely the kind of leverage that turns into real negotiating power in a sport built as much on storylines as it is on rankings. That's exactly why the money belt framing landed the way it did. Holloway isn't asking for a trilogy fight because he needs the validation. He's asking for it because he understands precisely which story the UFC's own audience wants resolved, and he's making it clear he's the one who benefits most from being the fighter who delivers that resolution, on his own terms, whenever the promotion decides to make it happen. The lightweight option Holloway floated isn't some random reach either. He's already carved out one of the most memorable BMF moments the sport has ever produced, and his knockout win over Justin Gaethje at UFC 300 has continued to shape the division's rankings conversation ever since. Gaethje himself has publicly credited Holloway's performance in that fight, calling it precise and perfect, exactly the kind of praise from a beaten opponent that carries more weight than any pure rankings argument. With lightweight gold still genuinely unsettled, Holloway inserting his own name back into that conversation is a completely credible move, not just a publicity stunt. The welterweight angle is a much bigger swing, and Holloway clearly knows it. Islam Makhachev has that entire division locked down since his win at UFC 330, extending one of the most dominant championship runs the sport has ever seen across 2 full weight classes. Holloway has already poked at the broader conversation surrounding Makhachev's 2-division dominance, and floating himself as a potential welterweight challenger is exactly the kind of audacious move that keeps him relevant in multiple divisional conversations simultaneously, rather than getting boxed into a single weight class waiting his turn. McGregor remains the single biggest, most obvious payday sitting in this entire equation, though, and it's not hard to understand why. Holloway and McGregor have been connected since their very first meeting back in 2013, and the UFC 329 rematch gave that rivalry a genuinely strange second chapter instead of the clean conclusion most fans were actually hoping for. A trilogy fight essentially sells itself before a single promotional poster gets made, especially with McGregor currently rehabbing from that same knee injury, and Holloway now openly joking about wanting an entire belt named after the money fight itself. That's the real strategy underneath all of this, and it's worth appreciating exactly how well Holloway has set it up. He's not pleading with the UFC for one specific outcome. He's putting three genuinely attractive options on the table at the same time and letting the promotion figure out which expensive problem they'd rather tackle first. Every single path keeps Holloway squarely in the center of the conversation, while the rest of the roster fights over rankings and title eliminators in the background. There's also real recent context surrounding this moment that makes Holloway's timing feel especially calculated. He's currently among several fighters, including Paddy Pimblett and Gable Steveson, facing Nevada Commission hearings tied to cage climbing incidents and purse withholding from that same UFC 329 event. That's a reminder that even in victory, Holloway's night wasn't without real complications, and it helps explain why he's moving so aggressively to lock down his next opportunity on the most favorable terms possible, rather than simply waiting around for the UFC to figure things out on its own timeline. The broader landscape across the sport right now only adds more weight to Holloway's positioning too. Just this week, Tyron Woodley publicly praised Islam Makhachev's discipline following his win over Ian Machado Gary at UFC 330, describing it as a lost art in the current era of MMA. That's the kind of commentary that reflects a sport actively reassessing who deserves top billing and priority matchmaking right now, and Holloway making three simultaneous demands is exactly the kind of move designed to keep him from getting lost in that reassessment while other storylines dominate the headlines. It's also worth remembering exactly how Holloway built the kind of career capital that makes a demand like this even plausible in the first place. His BMF title win over Gaethje at UFC 300 was specifically constructed by Dana White and the UFC as what they billed as the people's main event, built entirely around Holloway's unique fan connection and drawing power rather than strict divisional logic. That history establishes a clear pattern the UFC has already proven willing to follow. They've built entire marquee events around Holloway's specific brand of chaos and crowd appeal before, and there's no obvious reason to think they wouldn't do it again, given how UFC 329 just played out. So where does this actually leave the UFC's matchmaking team heading into the back half of 2026? A fighter with genuine relevance across multiple divisions, real box office pull, and an unfinished rivalry with the sport's biggest star, all wrapped into one confident, cheeky demand. Whether the promotion actually books him into a title shot at lightweight, sends him chasing an even bigger swing at welterweight, or simply gives fans the trilogy fight they clearly want to see, Holloway has positioned himself so that virtually any outcome keeps him exactly where he wants to be, at the center of the conversation. What's your take on this? Should the UFC prioritize a title shot for Holloway at either weight class, or does the McGregor trilogy make too much sense as a business decision to pass up regardless of where either man actually sits in the rankings? Few fighters manage to keep themselves relevant across three completely separate championship conversations at once, and that alone should tell you exactly how rare Holloway's current position in the sport actually is. Let us know your prediction in the comments, and subscribe for more UFC news and matchmaking coverage as this story develops.